What if I told you that the most painful thing in this world is not losing money, not losing a business, not even losing your health? The most painful thing is standing in front of someone you love with your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole being, and the only wall between you two is not ego, not distance, not misunderstanding. And it's a number, just a number that the world decided means everything, a number that turns love into a scandal, a number that turns I love you into how dare you. I'm talking about age. And today, I'm going to tell you a story, not a fairy tale, not a Hollywood romance, a real story about a man who had everything the world wanted, billions in the bank, rockets in the sky, and electric cars changing the future, but was empty inside until she walked in. Most of you know Elon Musk as the richest man on earth. You know him as the man who built Tesla, who built SpaceX, who dared to dream about Mars when everyone else was still worried about Monday morning traffic, who tweets at 3 a.m., makes markets crash and rise with one single word. You know him as invincible. But let me tell you something that the Forbes list never mentions. Behind every empire, behind every billion, behind every rocket launch, there is a man. Just a man who has been divorced twice, a man who has buried a child, a man who said in his own words, "I will never be happy. I don't think I was designed for happiness. I was designed to push forward." Can you imagine? The richest man in the world, the most powerful entrepreneur alive, and he genuinely believed he was not made to be loved. He had children, he had success, he had fame, but he was sitting in his Bel Air mansion, working 20-hour days, not because he loved the work, but because work was the only thing that made him feel less alone. Have you ever done that? Have you ever buried yourself in something, in your phone, in Netflix, in your career, in other people's problems, because you didn't want to face the silence inside your own heart? That was Elon Musk, the loneliest man with the most followers. And then it was 2021, a party in Austin, Texas, the kind of party where everyone is someone, where people talk about power, about money, about connections. Elon walks in, distracted, tired, present in body, absent in spirit, and then across the room, he sees her, Natasha Bassett, 26 years old, an actress, a writer, a creative soul. She's laughing at something, genuinely laughing, not the rehearsed kind that rich people do at parties to seem approachable, real laughter, the kind that reaches her eyes. And Elon, this man who has stood next to presidents, who has negotiated billion-dollar contracts, who has fired and hired without blinking, froze, not because she was beautiful, though she was, but because something about her energy felt like a breath of fresh air in a room full of smoke. She didn't know who he was at first, or maybe she did. But she didn't treat him like the world treats Elon Musk. She talked to him like he was just a person. And for Elon, that was the rarest luxury money could never buy. They started talking, and then talking more. Phone calls that lasted hours, messages at midnight, messages at 3 a.m., messages that said, "I can't stop thinking about this conversation." And slowly, quietly, powerfully, Elon Musk fell in love. Not the possessive kind, not the transactional kind that powerful men often mistake for love. Real love. The kind that makes you nervous. The kind that makes you question yourself. The kind that makes you want to be better than you are. He started smiling differently. His team noticed. He started making jokes. His friends noticed. He started talking about the future. Not just Mars and Tesla and electric grids, but his future. A personal future with someone. For the first time in years, Elon Musk wasn't just thinking about humanity's survival. He was thinking about his own happiness. And is that not the most human thing you've ever heard? The man who plans for the next 1,000 years of civilization, finally planning his own next chapter? The world found out, and everything changed. The headlines came like bullets. Elon Musk dating woman 26 years younger. Billionaire's controversial new romance. Is this appropriate? Age gap sparks outrage. Social media exploded. People who had never met either of them, who knew nothing about their conversations, their connection, their chemistry, became instant experts on whether their love was valid. Twitter dragged him. Instagram mocked her. People called her a gold digger. People called him a predator. People took a human connection, fragile, beautiful, real, and turned it into entertainment, into a debate, into a meme. And here's the question I want to ask you. Who gave us the right? Who gave any of us the right to stand outside someone's heart and tell them their feelings are wrong? Who made age the ultimate judge of love? Who decided that a number is more important than character, than connection, than genuine human emotion? When did we become so arrogant? Let me be honest with you right now. I'm not here to say age gaps don't matter. They do. In some situations, especially when power is abused, when someone is manipulated, when someone is too young to understand themselves, age matters enormously. That is a real conversation. That is a necessary conversation. But That is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about two adults, a 50-year-old man, a 26-year-old woman, both successful, both independent, both making their own choices. So when did adult choices become everyone else's business? Think about the relationships you've been in. Did any of them make complete sense from the outside? Did any of them look perfect to someone who didn't know what happened behind closed doors? Love is never logical from the outside. Love is never neat. Love doesn't fill out a form and submit it for public approval. Love just happens, and when it happens, it doesn't ask. Is the age difference acceptable? Will Twitter approve? Will my followers understand? Love just says, this person makes me feel alive, and I choose them. Whether you like Elon Musk or not, and I know opinions on him are complicated, he taught us something without even trying. He taught us that vulnerability doesn't discriminate. He taught us that loneliness doesn't care how many zeros are in your bank account. He taught us that the hunger for genuine human connection is the most universal hunger there is. Bill Gates has it. The man sleeping under a bridge has it. You have it. I have it. We are all, every single one of us, desperately searching for someone who sees us. Not our success, not our failures, not our age, not our status. Us. The raw, unpolished, imperfect, complicated us. And when someone finds that person, when you find that person, the world will always have something to say. They will say you're moving too fast. They will say you're moving too slow. They will say they're too young. They will say they're too old. They will say you're too different. They will say you're too similar. The world will always find a reason, because the world is uncomfortable with other people's happiness. Because when someone else chooses love over logic, heart over habit, courage over comfort, it reminds us of all the times we didn't. So what is this speech really about? It's not just about Elon. It's not just about age gaps. It's about you. It's about that person you stopped yourself from loving because the timing wasn't right. It's about that relationship you walked away from because people talked. It's about that feeling you buried inside yourself because you were afraid of what the world would say. It's about all of us sitting here, carrying love like a secret because we're too scared to let it be loud. When did love become something we need permission for? When did our hearts start needing approval from strangers on the internet? When did we start letting fear of judgment become stronger than the pull of genuine connection? I want to tell you something simple, something true. Life is brutally short. You will blink, and 5 years will be gone. You will blink again, and 10 years will be gone. And on the last day that you are on this earth, you will not regret the love that people judged. You will regret the love you never let yourself feel. Of what people would say, her age changed everything. That's true. It changed the headlines. It changed the conversations. It changed how people looked at them. But it changed nothing about the way his eyes softened when she walked into the room. It changed nothing about the phone calls at midnight, about the way she made him believe that maybe, just maybe, he was designed for happiness after all. Her age changed everything the world could see, and changed nothing about what they felt. And maybe that's the lesson. Maybe the lesson is what the world sees and what love feels are almost never the same thing. The world sees age. Love feels safety. The world sees scandal. Love feels home. The world sees difference. Love feels finally. Finally someone who gets it. Finally someone who sees me. Finally someone I don't have to explain myself to. That finally feeling, that is what we're all looking for. That is what Elon found. And the world called it controversial. He called it peace. I want to leave you with this. One day, hopefully a long time from now, you will be old, and you will look back at your life. And in that moment, the only thing that will matter is not how much money you made, not how many followers you had, not whether your relationships were socially acceptable. The only thing that will matter is whether you loved, and whether you let yourself be loved in return, whether you were brave enough to choose the person who made your soul quiet. Whether you were strong enough to say, I don't care what the world thinks. This is my heart. This is my choice. This is my life. Because at the end of everything, love is the only thing that was ever real. Everything else, the money, the fame, the status, the headlines, the opinions, everything else is noise. Love is the signal. Follow the signal. Even if the world calls it controversial. Even if the number is wrong by the world's standards. Even if it's scary. Even if it's uncertain. Even if it breaks every rule you thought you had to follow. Choose love, because life is too short, and love is too rare to let a number decide your story. Thank you.